One, I'm Li Cuiqin. I'm a PhD student in University of Singapore, and today I'm going to give a presentation on the topic of imagination of the sun and moon and Taoism cultivation. And we all know that there is a long tradition of meditation upon celestial bodies in Shangqin school, and we have various various cultivating methods related with the sun and moon, such as taking in the essence of the sun or moon, 时日之金,十月之金, swallowing talismans with the image of the sun or moon painted on it. This is called 福日月之相. And we also have absorbing the radiance of the sun or moon, 福日月之芒. And we have several scriptures and documents devoted to self-cultivation that was molded upon the sun and the moon. These scriptures are 灵珠子文, 八宿真经, 寓意文, 结灵章, and other basic formulas which are mostly collected in 云集集签. Today we will focus on a specific scripture that is called 上清皇帝阳经三道顺行经. Examining this scripture, we could find that there is an attitude of deprecation of other texts. It says that also the 灵书子文 and the 八宿真经 are efficacious in commanding and utilizing the sun and the moon. They are ignorant of the ultimate principle and have no idea of its brightness and expansiveness. This is so-called climbing the branches while not knowing the root, learning about the way, but being blind about its origin. So we want to ask why 上清皇帝阳经三道顺行经 is so assertive about its knowledge regarding the sun and the moon. In this scripture, we could find detailed depictions of the revolutions and the refinement of the sun and the moon in imaginary space, and a magnificent and fascinating vision of the heavenly bodies orbiting. Here, I should note that the refinement is a literal translation of the Chinese word 炼, meaning purification, perfection, polish, at terror. And it further indicated that all such celestial imagination is meant for self-cultivation, guided by the movements of the sun and the moon. So in this presentation, I will reveal its genius for imagining and utilizing the sun and the moon, and argue that it actually had various input of different origins, including primitive methods of the sun and moon cultivations and the Buddhist worldview. In this scripture, it says that the sun has a diameter of 2040 li, a golden matter, and an aqueous essence condensed inside it. Its light flows and shines to the outside. Inside unfound the dwellers of walled city at the pond of the valley of seven jewels, where four kinds of water lily grows, green, red, yellow, and white. The humans living there reach a height of 24 feet and are dressed in red clothes. They blossom and rise at the same time as the four kinds of flowers. Thus there are four seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Then following this description, it goes on to describe the first travel palace of the sun. It is called Jinmen, the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate is the gate through which the universal sunlight passes. Behind it is the pond of gold ashes in Furan. This pond is located in the western part of the region of Yeni. On the first day of spring, the sun purifies its huen in the Golden Gate and makes its light shine beyond the Golden Gate. At that moment, its radiance is soft and fresh and fills heaven with warmth. This happens once per year and lasts 45 days. And following Jimen, there are separate accounts about the other three travel palaces. They are called Dongyang, Dongjing, and Guanghan. The sun and moon travels in the universe space and stop for refinement in the palaces in accordance with the sequence of the solar terms. The sun takes up the time of the beginning of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and henceforth abides for 45 days at each station. And the moon inhabits in these palaces respectively from the spring equinox, the summer solstice, and the autumnal equinox and the winter solstice, and occupies the remaining 180 days. And we see that each palace is decorated with super giant trees of incredible exuberance, golden winged birds, and with the garments of immortality with their feathers, and the super magnificent bathing pools. At each station, the sun or moon purifies and reinforces their essence and rays in ponds of springs. So let's bear this portrait in mind and see the Buddhist addition of envisioning the sun. That the scripture we are talking about here is Da Lou Tan Jing. It was probably translated in the 4th century and elaborated the origin and the structure of the universe. We will see that there are many overlapping delineations between these two scriptures. It says that the walled city of Grand Sun has a diameter of 2,030 li. Its vertical height is of the same scale. There is the golden palace in it. It is as tall as the breast, and there is a seat for Sun Emperor, which is 20 li in width and length, and is composed of the 7 jewels. Luminous light emits from every inch of the Sun Emperor's body. The radiance lights up the palace of Yanfu, which lights up the whole city, and the radiance of the city in turn lights up the 4 directions below. The Sun Emperor never bothers himself with do's and don'ts. He always take himself with 5 central pleasures. Innumerable deities are leading the way in his travel, and he enjoys endless happiness. The Sun Emperor's walled city is made up of 7 jewels. The wall has 7 layers with 7 rounds of fences surrounding it. 7 folds of lances drip around the trees and pavilions bestrue the whole city. The ponds grow water lilies of green, red, yellow, and white, and various birds fly around and sing to each other. So we see that the physical descriptions of the walled city, including the birds, giant trees, 7 jewels, lilies of 4 colors, in Da Lou Tan Jing are virtually identical to Shangqing Huangdi Yangjing Sandao Shenxing Jing. In addition, the location of Jinmen is in the western part of the region of Yanni in Shangqing Sandao Shenxing Jing. And we happen to find that the appellation of the great region in the Da Lou Tan Jing is called Juyanni. And plus the layout of the 4 palaces in the 4 directions is very likely based on the configuration of 4 great regions in Da Lou Tan Jing. For we know that in previous scriptures, we just have 2 palaces, Jinmen and Dongjing, in Basu Zhenjing, and this also was the Shangqing Huangdi Yangjing Shunxing Jing expands 2 into 4. With these similarities, though, we find that the hosts of the Sun palaces into scriptures operate in totally different ways. In Da Lou Tan Jing, the master of the Sun basks himself quietly in non-pareil pleasures, while the Sun host in Shangqing Huangdi Yangjing Shunxing Jing is dynamic and plays important roles in the process of self-cultivation of the adept. This is a paragraph of a concrete practice. After preliminary preparations such as incense burning, bathing, and teeth massaging, the adept commences his most pivotal part. He visualizes himself, his own journey, and his refinement in the Sun palaces. The Taoist visualizes the purple sunlight descending on himself in multiple layers. He himself is in the sun vision. The sun vision surrounds his body, and he begins to ascend to the balance of Dongyang, and finds himself in the glade of a liquid fire in a spacious blue forest. He visualizes the immortal named Nanji Dongyang Zhenren, whose tabooed name is Rongzhu. The immortal is of the height of 8 cun, dressed in red unlight clothes wearing hat which is saturated with the sun essence and is capable of transmitting yang qi. The emote is spewing out powerful reddish breath, which burns adapts body like a scorching fire. So we find that on the one hand, the adept is an imitator of the sun, of the moon, and the sun and the moon, as the sun and the moon purify themselves, their rays and their essences in the four palaces. The adept visualizes himself participating in the same endeavor. But on the other hand, the adept is a recipient. Towards him, the sun master transmits its essence. The process is described in a very active way. The immortal Nanji Dongyang Zhenren spews out burning breath to the adept, and he feels overwhelmed by the radiance and heat. The unique way of adapts cultivation in 上清、黄气、阳经三道顺行经 could be further illustrated by briefly comparing it to other scriptures like 登真隐诀 and 灵枢子文。in 登真隐诀 in the Taoism, we have this description. It says that it requires the adapter to meditate on the sun and moon as if they are existing in Mingtang. Mingtang is located at the spot between two eyebrows, one to inside, the sun at the left and the moon right. The three governors of Mingtang spews out reddish breath and make a light permeate my body and enshroud me. They all exhale luminous breath as if it emanates from the red mirror, and the luminous breath comes out from Shou Cun and surround me gradually. I swallow the reddish breath countless times. I should close my eyes and gently imbibe it. I swallow it as it enters my body. I feel the vigorous breath enter through the mouth and flow down to the chest and the abdomen. And with a little change, Lin Shuzi will present as this way. After making the 6 words incantation, keeps eyes closed and hands clenched, and visualize a flowing mist of 5 colors come down to the body and reach the feet. And again, visualize the 5-colored mist ascend to the top of the hand, and the flowing mist of 5 colors enter to the mouth. So we see that in both these two scriptures, the sun and the moon are invoked and visualized, and in Denzhen Yunjue, the 3 governors also spew out reddish breath like the immortal Nanji Dongyang Zhenren does in 上清阳经三气顺行经. But we found that the locus of cultivation in both the 登真隐诀 and 子文灵书 is inside the body. The narrow imaginary space is only designed to meet practical meditative purposes. So we cannot find in these two scriptures the magnificent, fabulous sun or moon vision in this text. So the concluding remark is that 上清、黄气、阳经、顺行经 is very unusual among scriptures related to the sun and moon cultivation, and the traceable Buddhism impact reveals the original inspiration of its grand imagination. Concerning the cultivation itself, it shares the keywords with other scriptures of absorbing the sun and moon essences, swallowing light and reddish breath, but it presents it in a dramatic way. So this is a very special and a common scripture. So that's all my presentation. Thank you all.